How can parents get over the fear of talking to their children about money? Bank of America Merrill Lynch's Stacy Allred is here to explain. Welcome, Stacy.
Thank you for having me.
So, Stacy, this fear is very real, right? And so parents often have the choice, or feel like they have the choice. They either sort of hide from the discussion, or they could kind of launch right into it. Tell us about that tension that occurs.
So when there's tension around something, just very broadly speaking, I might either avoid the topic, which is fear-based, or I might approach it, right? So step into it.
Okay.
So kind of survive versus thrive.
So approaching sounds like it's a better plan. Before they get to the approach, though, what's one way they can get there? You said thinking about potential outcomes might help them get that courage to make that approach.
So families are very story-based, and if they think about and build their own stories for their future, it would be helpful for them to think about, if I continue doing what I'm doing around this non-communicating, what message does that send to my family? What will the outcomes likely be in the next 10, 20, 30 years? And as they develop those stories for both not communicating, right, so avoid, or communicating, approach. And that can be really insightful in getting the wheels turning around the impact of not communicating versus stepping into it.
For sure, you want to see what kind of future you could potentially create or not create by what you say or not say. You said also you want to pick the times you want to speak to your children. Also, you shouldn't necessarily do it all at once.
It's really important to share the right amount of information at the right time. And figuring out exactly what the right amount of information is at the right time can be a little tricky. But you want to start slowly and step into it. We had a young man who went and met with his estate planning attorney and accountant, and they gave him so much information, he excused himself to go to the bathroom and literally left the building. It's that amygdala part of the brain kicking
Too much
in,
information.
And that was a verbal vomit, so to speak.
How do questions play a part in all this too?
So you might start, right, we talked about doing it incrementally, by asking your child what questions they have around money. And when you get the questions from your child, to really take those opportunities as teachable moments. Take, for example, the child that gets the question, are we rich? Right? Most families, don't want to answer.
Right.
They
Dreaded
kind of
question.
sweep that question under the rug. If instead you said this is built by a group more than money, kind of built out the model of, there are 3 types of families in the world: those that have not enough, those that have just enough, and those that have more than enough. And you can talk about the 48% of the population that live on less than $2 a day. You can talk about the 3/4 of Americans that live paycheck to paycheck, right? They have just enough. And then you can talk about, in our family, we have more than enough. It doesn't mean we have unlimited, but we have enough for all of our needs, some for our wants, some to save, and some to share. And what that means in our family is, you can see how it's a very different dialogue than shutting down that teachable moment.
It's using the context and the time and the age of the children, and then also evolving that discussion as they get older, it sounds like.
That's exactly right.
Great. Thanks so much, Stacy.
Thank you.